So right after I joined Wonderly, they announced their October theme, which was masks. I knew almost right away that I wanted to talk about the masks that writers wear. Most of the writers that I'm acquainted with, we put on these masks a lot more often than I think that we realize. I know that I do. And I think that masks can be useful. They give you something to hide behind. They give you something to serve as protection. They're a barrier between you as a creator and the cruel, wide world that's waiting to rip apart the thing that came straight out of your heart. But I think that by accepting that these are masks and really understanding that they're something that we are choosing to wear for a while, maybe that'll help us look for more opportunities to take them off. The mask of indifference. That's the thing that you hide behind when you want to give the illusion that you don't care. It doesn't bother you if somebody doesn't like your story. I don't care if they don't like my drawing. I don't care how many views that video gets, even though I poured my heart and soul into it. I think it's obvious that it feels safer to not care, but I think that it's really, really important for me to remember that it's a mask. I don't think that I would spend as much time making things that are to be consumed by someone else if I didn't care about their experience while consuming it. The second mask that is absolutely crippling is the mask of fear. My husband Darren says a quote all the time, "Fear is the mind killer." And I think that's spot on. I know that for me, being afraid is virtually the same thing as being paralyzed. There have been a lot of times that I've been afraid and it's completely stopped me from going forward or trying or even just dreaming of what could be. The problem is when we're afraid as creators, we're inhibited. When you're blocked and hidden because you're hiding, because you're afraid of either what people will say or what people will think or what might happen or what might not happen, you're not open, you're not exposed. And that exposure is what makes art beautiful and tragic and amazing and unique. That sense of desperation that comes from being totally and completely vulnerable. And I think the last mask that is so hard for me to recognize and to deal with, and a mask that I think so many of my friends and fellow writers and fellow artists wear, is that mask of invincibility. Not only are you not invincible from the pain or the sting of people not connecting with your work, but there's also that self-imposed pressure to measure up with and compete with and keep step for step with all of these other people that are not actually you. I know that I am so guilty of burning my candle at both ends and expecting that everyone will be fed emotionally or artistically, and it's just not the case. It's not possible to give 100% at work and give 100% to your writing or to your music or whatever, and give 100% to your family and your home, and give 100% to your body and your spirit and your wellness. We pretend like we can do anything and that we don't need to say no. We pretend that we can just pile more on our plate and that there isn't a limit to how much we can give before we need to refill our reserves. Sometimes we take for granted that in some ways we are incredibly strong and resilient and durable. And in other ways we are soft, we are fragile. We are a thing that should be preserved. I'm going to try and stop hiding behind the masks of indifference and fear and invincibility as a person, as a writer, as a teacher, as a wife. I would love to know what sort of mask you hide behind. Leave me a comment below and let me know. What's that thing that you are so desperate to take off so that the real, full, complete, honest version of yourself can be exposed? Thank you guys for tuning in this week, and I will see you next Friday. And I was sitting in my head in this rainy, coffee shop. Well, I was in the coffee shop and I was dry, but outside the coffee shop it was totally rainy.